Greetings to all of you that are out there. My name is Glenn, and I'm back again with what I hope is a thoughtful and encouraging message for you today. Remember, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I like to get your feedback because this is all about community. You see, we help each other to be better, we share our ideas, we inspire each other, and we motivate, and we take positive action. Ultimately, the goal is to be the best version of ourselves so we can thrive, experience fulfillment, and achieve. So let's jump into the topic for today, and that is overcoming challenges through positive change. Let's start, shall we? It's no secret that we're living in some unsettling times. Worry, anxiety, fear, and grief can be unavoidable emotions given what we come across daily. Some can find themselves in a particular place in their life where things are just not what they desire them to be. Although we're trying, things are not changing in a way that we see real improvements or progress. Perhaps doing nothing seems to be the better and more convenient option over trying something. One could be burying their heads in the sand and pretending that an issue or issues don't exist. It is essential to confront the realities of the situation so that you can do something of substance to improve it. So if I were to give you something of a quick pep talk, it would sound something like this. The time is now, the hour has come for you to examine and identify what's not working and do something about it. Then hold yourself accountable so you can achieve your goal. But I think it requires more explanation than that. First and foremost, any plans that you make to achieve positive change has to include God. I talk about this in my video, Time to Make a Shift. I'm going to put a link up to it on the screen somewhere, and I encourage you to watch it after this video if you haven't already done so. Yes, we have our own plans, but God has the master plan. Amen? Amen. I like how it's said. Prayer is the key. Faith unlocks the door. And I'm going to add to that by saying prayer, faith, and work combined will get you to the positive progress that you want to make. I can't express it enough. Anything that we try to do that we intentionally leave God out of will ultimately fail. Despite the fact that we have some of those who experience seasons of great achievements, should they neglect to recognize and acknowledge the one that is the reason why they have what they have and where they are and can do what it is that they do, it will eventually slip away. And by the time that they realize what's going on, it will be too late. So please, please, please put God first, okay? Okay. Now, despite the difficulties of the time, many of us are not deterred or discouraged from doing the thing we feel is going to fulfill our lives. Yes, we experience challenges and we face obstacles, but we also win victories and we achieve triumphs. At times we get overwhelmed, and it prevents us from fully being able to engage with what we need to be doing to focus our attentions to move in the direction that we want to go. We know that times will come that will cause us to be frustrated and even discouraged given all we have to manage from day to day. Ideally, we would prefer that challenges and complications not be part of what we have to deal with. However, given everything that we know about life, all that we see every day, and all that we've experienced, that would be somewhat of an unrealistic expectation to have. In some way, shape, or form, we are having to deal with aspects of our lives, such as with our work, our finances, relationships, health, and so on, that we realize that some things need to change to make conditions better. For some, it could be giving up some bad habits, or for others, it could be an attitude adjustment. Maybe there's someone who needs to improve their health or overcome some other obstacle in their life. it is impossible to avoid or ignore situations that inevitably we'll have to face at some point. But it is always essential to be prepared with the tools that we'll need to confront the challenge. In any case, we have to come to terms with the fact that if we want to improve our life positively, something has to change. Positive change, while it can be inconvenient, it is necessary for growth. Positive change will force us to have to make choices to put us on the right track to improving, progressing, and developing ourselves. It's not helpful to surrender to life's opposition by justifying why everything is just fine the way that it is, nor is it helpful to say you're going to do something without putting words to action. Understandably so, some situations arise out of nowhere. We get blindsided. We couldn't have prepared for it, and there's no contingency plan in place to deal with the aftermath. When times like that come, we have to resist the urge to panic, but instead gather the will, the strength, and the power to get ourselves focused so that we can zero in on what we need to do to find a solution. I believe that most of us are trying to do our best, but at times the best just might not be working out as we expect them to. Despite what it looks like, be confident and optimistic. A positive attitude is what it's going to take to help you to make it through. So work to overcome challenges through making positive change. Now, I want to emphasize positive change because I think it's helpful to make that distinction. When we talk about the choices that we make as it relates to ourselves, we're talking about something that we want to do positively. After all, not all change is beneficial. Change for the sake of change is just doing something to do something without including logic in the process. Remember, some change, if not thought out, can have far-reaching consequences that can set you back more than it moves you forward. So exercising wisdom in your decision-making is critical to achieving your intended goal. Now, if what you're doing is not working, consider the following areas to pay attention to. They could be hindering you from getting to the positive results that you want to get. Number one, possibly you're trying to do too much all at once. Nothing can derail your plans more than, as the saying goes, biting off more than you can chew. Drastic changes have a tendency to become overwhelming. Eventually, one will find themselves giving up because the willpower and the sacrifice could not support drastic changes over a short amount of time. Trying to do too much all at once for many is just unsustainable. Smaller and more digestible changes can do more to help you to stay on course, focus, and sustain your endurance over the long term. It's like this. You decide to go on a diet. And so what you do is you cut everything out except for water and grapefruit. That is unrealistic and it is unhealthy. Trying to overcome one challenge by overcompensating through deprivation thereby creates another challenge in the process, resulting in you not getting to your intended results. Number two, stop beating yourself up. You've had some issues, you faced some difficulties, things happen. You could have done some things different. You should have known better. You should have listened to others, and so on. It happens. Don't see your setbacks as failures, but rather use them as a learning experience that will guide you in making better and more informed decisions now and in the future. To my next point, number three, confront the reality of your circumstances, release it, and move on. Recognize when you're in a state for too long that is not serving you. Those states could include depression, disappointment, anger, regret, and unforgiveness, etc. You especially know that you're in those states too long when the person that is involved has taken corrective action to repair the condition, but your heart is not open to letting go. You do yourself no favors by holding on to the emotions that are attached to that situation. Release it. Holding on to animosity about someone or something is like you drinking the poison and expecting the other person to get sick. When you really think about it, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just move on. Make that positive change and reclaim your internal peace and harmony and let it go. I go into this in more detail in my video, Letting Go, that I posted. I'll put a link up on the screen. I encourage you to watch it. I think it will really help those who find themselves holding on to things long past their expiration date. And then it'll help you to finally release it and let it go so that you can live a more fulfilling life. But on to my next point. Number 4, I want to put it like this. Comfortable, but not beneficial. The comfort zones we like to keep. There are times when we find ourselves settling for something, but are not really satisfied. Yet we stay in it because we are reluctant to get out of our comfort zone. We stay in our comfort zones because it seems like a safe place. Everything is familiar. We have some sense of control over our environment, and we don't have to work on making improvements because it's all that we really want to handle. You can have enormous potential, but staying in a comfort zone will keep you from taking risks that will yield you great accomplishments. Actually, let me clarify that a bit because I think the phrase taking a risk may sound like a suggestion to be reckless. So let me put it this way. A comfort zone can keep a person from putting in the necessary time to intelligently prepare themselves to step out on faith and achieve success. That feels better. A comfort zone is usually the go-to state of mind that one adopts when they're trying to avoid doing something that they fear. Fear will keep you from taking all the necessary actions to get you to the next level. Fear will have you thinking to yourself, what if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if I can't do it? If you suffer from fear, remember, strong faith has great rewards because you have to believe in yourself, be optimistic, and be wise. Plan for success and prepare for obstacles along the way. Number 5, repetitively doing something that is not improving your condition. Actually, now that I think about it, that sounds close to the definition of insanity. I believe it was Einstein that we attribute the definition of insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I guess in that case, you could say it would be insane not to change. If you didn't get that, it'll come to you later. It's worth making an honest evaluation of whatever the situation is and understand that when you are clear about what you're dealing with, you can apply the right fix to the problem. When you change the way that you look at something and take a more positive approach to getting an answer, you may gain the clarity about what you're dealing with to help you to identify solutions more accurately. Let's look at those times when it's necessary to make adjustments to improve your conditions for the better. Here are some examples when it's time to consider to make positive change. Change may be necessary when things that you're doing is not working, but you keep doing it anyway because it's comfortable and it's convenient. Change may be necessary when you're doing something because it's what you're used to doing, yet you're unhappy and you're uninspired. Change may be necessary when you realize that you have great potential, but you're working beneath your capabilities. And why? Because maybe you were told that that's all that you can do, and you believed it. Change is necessary when you know you should do better, but you just don't want to do better. And let me expand on this one. Just not wanting to do better could be rooted in some feeling as though if you worked on doing better, that you may have to give up some things that you like. That is not really helping you and maybe even harming you. In situations like this, even the suggestion to make positive change is rejected, in spite of the evidence that positive change will greatly improve your life. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe some just think making positive change is just too hard. It's not worth the effort. Possibly you lack the willpower to resist that which does not serve you well, even though by making the positive change, you get elevated to another level. It's ironic how sometimes we will persist in doing something unfulfilling perpetually rather than challenging ourselves and sacrificing some time and pleasure of doing the things that we enjoy for a season, just to get us to the place that will bring us happiness in the long term. Inside, you know you have to do something different because what you're doing is not working. You're not getting out what you're putting in, and you are unfulfilled and uninspired. At times, all it takes is for someone to come along and say something that will shift your perspective in a way that will put you back on course, headed in the right direction to get you to your goal. Become aware of when something does not serve you anymore or is of no benefit. When you see that it doesn't encourage you, it doesn't inspire, and it doesn't motivate you to take positive action, yet it causes you to be frustrated and unfulfilled, positive change is necessary. What you do to make that positive change will all depend on your unique situation. You have to first decide that you want to do it. Know that your thoughts drive your actions. That's why I believe the statement, "a mind is a terrible thing to waste," makes perfect sense, because you can do great things all harnessing the power of your mind, but if you let it go to waste, so goes all your hopes and all of your dreams. Even when things have not worked out the way you would have wanted it to, realize that it's not what happened that defines you. It's how you respond that makes all the difference. Believe in yourself and tell yourself, "I am going to continuously work to improve and be better." Then work to make things happen. Recognize the difference between how you feel and what you do. You may not feel like doing something, but you do it because it's necessary for you to move forward and to take you beyond your current state that you're in. As I said in the beginning, the goal is to be the best version of yourself. So don't be consumed by trivial things that don't matter. Release yourself from old unproductive patterns of thinking and ways of living and make room for new, better, and positive things. Putting all of that together, I say, challenge yourself to make that positive change. Well, family, thank you once more and again for listening to me. As I always say, thank you for hearing my heart. These are my perspectives. These are my opinions. You may have different and other ones. Please comment in the section. Like I said, this is community. We're all about helping each other. I trust that everybody is going to have a fantastic and awesome, a productive, a purposeful, a more fulfilling day. I thank you again for joining in with me. You are an awesome people. And once more and again, this is an awesome time for you to make that positive change. Take care. Shalom. Peace and blessings be unto you. Take care.